The countdown to pitchers and catchers reporting is down to single digits for all 30 MLB clubs, but as exciting as it is to see the return of Major League stars, it's also at times to dream about the next wave of baseball talent. With the help of MLB.com's beat writers, here's a prospect to keep an eye on for each and every team in 2019. American League East. The countdown to pitchers and catchers reporting is down to single digits for all 30 MLB clubs, but as exciting as it is to see the return of Major League stars, it's also at times to dream about the next wave of baseball talent. With the help of MLB.com's beat writers, here's a prospect to keep an eye on for each and every team in 2019. American League East. Blue Jays. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 3BTHE Blue Jays might be in the process of rebuilding, but their upcoming spring training will be must-see TV because of one player. Guerrero, arguably one of the most hyped prospects in history, will report to big league camp for the first time in his career. Guerrero appeared in a handful of spring games for Toronto in 2018, but he's never been a full participant in camp, and this will be the first time fans get to watch his progress from start to finish. Guerrero vs. Chris Sale, Blake Snell, or Aroldis Chapman and Masahiro Tanaka. These matchups have never happened before, but they might this spring, and if they do, the entire baseball world will be watching. If Guerrero comes anywhere close to matching the hype, there are certain milestones of his career people will not want to miss, and his very first Major League spring training is one of them. Circle February 23rd on the calendar because that's when all of the fun could begin with an afternoon home game versus the Tigers. Gregor Chisholm video, MLB Network on Vlad Jr. Being game's top prospect. Orioles, Yusniel Diaz. Orioles camp will be full of blue chippers eager to show the new regime what they can do as the club heads into a season in which big league opportunities figure to be available in plenty. The crop includes fast-rising Ryan Mountcastle, rebound candidates Hunter Harvey and Austin Hayes, and late bloomers Ryan McKenna and Dean Kramer. But the obvious choice here is Yusniel Diaz, the prize of the Manny Machado trade, and the Orioles know one prospect per MLB pipeline. The 22-year-old Cuban slumped at Double-A last summer, but has generally rose steadily since signing with the Dodgers in November 2015. He is considered a potential five-tool player with an advanced approach at the plate, an ability to play all three outfield positions, and a shot at debuting in Baltimore as early as this summer. Joe Trezora's, Nate Lowe. Once the Rays decided to trade Jake Bauers to the Indians this offseason, it became clear that the organization believes Nate Lowe is the first baseman of the future. Lowe won the Rays Minor League Player of the Year award in 2018 after dominating 3 levels in the minors. The Rays know 13 prospect. According to MLB Pipeline, finished with 27 homers in 2018, and scouts have little doubt that the power will translate to the majors due to his 6'4", 235-pound frame. Lowe is one of the 24 non-roster invitees at this year's spring training, and it will be interesting to see what Lowe can show in just over a month. There's a good chance we see Lowe at the big league level at some point in 2019, but the 23-year-old will look to display his power all throughout the spring. 1. Tour by Red Sox. Bobby Dalbec. 3BTHE power hitting third baseman will be in big league camp for the first time, and Red Sox fans look forward to watching him take aim at the replica Green Monster at JetBlue Park. Dalbec has the best raw power in Boston's farm system, and his batting practice sessions could be a must-see event for fans roaming the backfields. But Dalbec isn't just about offense. He was a much-improved defender at the hot corner last season, displaying a quick first step and a strong arm. Look for Dalbec to start 2019 at Double-A and likely finish it at Triple-A. A September call-up isn't out of the question. Ian Brown. Yankees. Clint Frazier. Frazier's 2018 season was derailed in the Yankees' second exhibition game, when he sustained a concussion slamming into the left field wall in Bradenton, Florida. Recurring symptoms dogged the promising outfielder throughout much of the campaign, but he recently received a clean bill of health and has eyes upon claiming the starting left field job from Brett Gardner. Frazier was lauded for his legendary bat speed in 2016, when he served as the centerpiece in the Andrew Miller trade. Brian Hawk. American League Central Indians, Bobby Bradley, 1 BFO are those who enjoy the long ball. Bradley will be one to keep an eye on during spring training. The 22-year-old first baseman has demonstrated plus power in every step of his minor league career, launching at least 20 home runs over the last 4 years, 27 in Class A Advanced Lake County in 2015, 29 for Class A Advanced Lynchburg in 16, 23 at AA Akron in 17 and 27 between AA and AAA and 18. In 16, he also knocked in an impressive 102 runs in 131 contests. Bradley's powerful bat is definitely something the Indians could use in their lineup once he continues to improve his defense and trim his strikeout rate. It may not be too much longer until he gets his chance to hit long balls and drive in runs for the big league club. Either way, look for his power to be on full display once the team arrives in Arizona. Mandy Bell. Royals, Richard Lovelady, LHPAs. We've mentioned numerous times on Royals.com, Lovelady, 23, doesn't have to go on the 40-man roster until next fall. But Lovelady, who posted a 2.47 ERA last year at AAA Omaha with 9 saves, may force the Royals' hand this spring. And there certainly are plenty of open spots in the bullpen for Lovelady to grab. A lot of eyes will be on Lovelady when camp opens in 2 weeks. He has swing and miss stuff and a bulldog mentality, and general manager Dayton Moore brought his name up at the team's recent Fan Fest as one of those pitchers who could be the next Greg Holland, Kelvin Herrera or Wade Davis. Lovelady just needs an opportunity. Jeffrey Flanagan. Video, callous on the potential of no. 17 prospect Casey Mize. Tigers, Casey Mize, RHP. Mize won't be pushing for a roster spot after just 13 minor league innings last summer. But what last year's top draft pick shows in camp should play a big role in determining his eventual path to the big leagues. I'm not going to even touch the delivery, pitching coach Rick Anderson said of Mize a couple weeks ago at Tiger Fest. You just let him get adapted to where he's at. I'm excited to see him, just as I was when Beau Burrows and Matt Manning came up. You get a chance to see these guys and then you sit down with roving pitching instructor, A.J. Sager and the minor league people and talk about where we're going with them and what their thoughts are. It's going to be fun to see him. The Tigers' decision to invite Mize to Major League camp is similar to what Detroit did with fellow right-hander Alex Faedo, their previous year's top draft pick. The Tigers rested Faedo for the summer of 2017 after taking him with their first pick, letting him rest his arm following extended work during the University of Florida's run to the College World Series. Before Faedo embarked on his first pro season, the Tigers gave him a glimpse of major league pitchers and the routine they build to prepare for a season. He pitched in the Tigers' spring exhibition game against Florida Southern College before heading over to minor league camp. Expect much of the same from Mize. Jason Beck. Twins, Alex Kirilloff missed the entire 2017 season after undergoing Tommy John surgery, and his only goal entering 18 was to play a full season of healthy baseball. The former first-round selection from the 16 MLB draft not only stayed healthy, but also had one of the most productive seasons in the minor leagues, leading all full-season minor league hitters in doubles, 44, while hitting .348, .392, .578 with 20 homers and 101 RBIs across 2 levels. 21-year-old was named the Twins Minor League Player of the Year, shot up to no. 9 on MLB Pipeline's top 100 prospects list and earned an invite to big league camp this coming spring. I've never had an injury like that caused me to miss that much time, Kirilloff said. Once it got past that point and I accepted everything, I took it as a challenge and tried to make myself better from it. Young Park. White Sox, Eloy Jimenez, of White Sox fans continue waiting on decisions from premium free agents Machado and Bryce Harper, but in the meantime, believe they have a star of their own in the making in Jimenez. Those same fans were disappointed to not have Jimenez come to the majors at all in 2018, especially after getting a glimpse of his raw power during spring training and then watching Jimenez tear through the minors offensively. The game's no. 3 prospect overall, per MLB Pipeline, has worked diligently on his conditioning in the offseason and seems primed for an impressive rookie campaign, which should begin sometime in mid-April. Scott Merkin, American League West Angels, Joe Adell, Ofado, ranked as the no. 14 overall prospect by MLB Pipeline, is a true 5-tool center fielder who has continued to make impressive adjustments in the minors. He's coming off a breakout year that saw him hit a combined .290, .355, .543 with 20 homers, 32 doubles and 15 stolen bases in 99 games across 3 levels, including his first stint at Double-A despite being only 19. He'll be in Major League camp for the first time this spring, but isn't likely to reach the majors in 2020. He'll be in the upper levels of the minors this season, however, and is the club's most exciting homegrown prospect since Mike Trout. Rhett Bollinger Video, Callous on Forrest Whitley being top pitching prospect. Astros, Forrest Whitley, RHP Whitley, the 7th-ranked overall prospect by MLB Pipeline, is one of the Astros' most highly touted prospects in the last couple of years. Whitley, who dominated at the Arizona Fall League after being held to 26 1/3 innings at Double-A Corpus Christi last year following a 50-game suspension and a pair of injuries, will probably begin the season at Triple-A Round Rock and should make his way to Houston at some point in 2019. There's a reason the Astros came out publicly and said the 6'7" Whitley isn't available in trades this offseason. Brian McTaggart Athletics, Jesus Luzardo, LH Paul eyes will be on Luzardo when camp opens next week. The A's top prospect, all of 21 years old, is the most intriguing opening day rotation candidate. The Southpaw sensation, who was recently anointed the game's top left-handed pitching prospect by MLB Pipeline, climbed 3 levels in the minors in 2018 and put together a 10-5 record in 2.88 ERA with 129 strikeouts in 109 1/3 innings. Despite having just 4 games under his belt at the Triple-A level, the A's won't hesitate to throw him in the big league rotation with a strong spring showing. Conversely, they don't want to rush him if they feel he's not ready, and wouldn't shy away from giving him more time at Triple-A. Either way, the hype is real. Luzardo is armed with a premium arsenal, including a high 90s fastball that features a high spin rate and an elite changeup, and the kind of pinpoint command that typically eludes young pitchers. Jane Lee Mariners, Kyle Lewis, off with all the off-season moves by Jerry Dipoto, the Mariners are suddenly loaded with interesting young prospects, including promising pitchers Justice Sheffield, Justin Dunn and Eric Swanson, who all could impact the rotation before long. 9 of the club's top 30 prospects per MLB Pipeline were acquired this winter. But there's a returning prospect who might be even more intriguing to keep an eye on this spring, as Lewis, the club's no. 1 draft pick in 2016, should finally be at full strength in his return from knee surgery. Fans will finally get to see Lewis in action at his first Major League camp as the 23-year-old looks to re-establish himself as a key part of the franchise's future plans. Greg Johns Rangers, Taylor Hearn, LHP spring training will give the Rangers a chance to take a good look at Hearn, 24, who was acquired from the Pirates in a trade for Keone Kela at the end of July. He is at the forefront of a group of minor league starting pitchers who are expected to make an impact at the big league level in 2 to 3 years. Hearn, who is from nearby Roy City, has a fastball that hits 97 to 98 miles per hour but still has to refine his location. He has a good feel for a changeup, but is still working on his slider. He could end up with a future in the bullpen, but the Rangers will give him a chance to start and he could be fun to watch in spring training. Sullivan National League East Braves, Christian Patch, Ofandra Jones says Patch is already the best defensive outfielder within an organization that includes Ender Inciarte, who has won 3 straight Gold Glove awards. Other evaluators have opined the 20-year-old prospect might be the game's best defensive outfield prospect. The young outfielder hit the first 9 homers of his professional career last year, and his power will likely increase as he continues to physically mature. Patch held his own while experiencing his first big league spring training last year. His presence during this year's camp should give Braves fans further reason to be excited about the possibility he might be roaming the outfield with Ronald Acuña Jr. at some point during the 2020 season. Mark Bowman Marlins, Victor Mesa, off Mesa, Miami's No. 1 prospect in baseball's 99th overall per MLB pipeline, enters spring training as a non-roster invitee and a bit of a mystery. The 22-year-old and his younger brother Victor Mesa Jr. defected from Cuba last May, and he has not seen any real game action since. He signed for $5.25 million, and his brother for $1 million with the Marlins in October. The fact that the elder Mesa hasn't played in games in about a year will create plenty of intrigue as to what he can do. Speedster with a cannon for an arm, Mesa draws praises from scouts for his defensive abilities. His approach at the plate is also solid, and the thought is that he will hit for average. But there are questions as to how much power he will provide. The Marlins will give Mesa every chance to showcase himself. Along with game action, he is expected to be in the bullpen tracking pitches during pitcher warm-ups. Marlins fans are wondering when to expect him in the big leagues, but they will have to wait because he will likely start off at either Class A Advanced Jupiter or AA Jacksonville. Joe Freese video, WLD at USA. Alonso mashes a 2-run homer to left field mitts. Peter Alonso, 1BA vocal segment of Mets fans wanted top-ranked prospect Peter Alonso in the majors last season. They'll be back in full-throated support of Alonso this spring, when he attempts to make the Mets' opening day roster despite odds stacked against him. While Alonso has nothing left to prove offensively in the minors, slugging 36 home runs over 2 levels last season, the Mets must keep him down until mid-April if they want to ensure an extra year of team control. Regardless of that decision, Alonso promises to be under a microscope this spring, as the Mets try to figure out if he really is their first baseman of the future, particularly on defense, where he has struggled since the Mets drafted him in the 2nd round in 2016. If all goes well, Alonso has potential to develop into one of the best right-handed sluggers in baseball. Anthony DeCombinationals, Victor Robles, a phone of the biggest reasons the Nationals could potentially lose Harper and still be okay. Robles, the club's top prospect and MLB Pipeline's No. 4 overall prospect in baseball. Had he not hyperextended his left elbow on a diving catch last April, Robles would have received his chance in DC last season. Instead, his friend Juan Soto got the chance and he ran with the opportunity. This year will be Robles' turn. Washington is going to hand Robles the job as the everyday center fielder because the team believes he is ready to show off all of his tools, the speed around the bases and in the outfield, the instincts and arm on defense, and an approach at the plate that they do not believe will be overwhelmed by big league pitching, along with enough power to make pitchers pay for mistakes. Robles is about to get his chance to prove himself this season, and the Nationals hope he will end up roaming the outfield at Nationals Park for years to come. Jamal Collier Phillies. Adam Haseley, of the Phillies, selected Haseley with the 8th overall pick in the 2017 MLB draft, and there is some thought that he could push for a job on the big league roster later this season, if he plays well and if there is a need. Haseley opened last season with Class A Clearwater before being promoted to AA Reading. He put up impressive numbers with Reading, batting .316 with 6 home runs, 17 RBIs and an .880 OPS in 159 plate appearances. If the Phillies sign Harper at some point this spring, it obviously hurts Haseley's chances to make a big league impact in 2019. But if Harper signs elsewhere, the Phillies could have a use for Haseley midsummer, especially with outfielders like Adubel Herrera and Aaron Alder trying to rebound from disappointing seasons, and Roman Quinn having an extensive injury history. Todd Zaleka National League Central Brewers, Keston Hiura, to in this case, the must-see prospect in camp might also be the one with the chance to make the biggest impact. Hiura impressed manager Craig Counsell and the Major League staff last year by batting .419 with a .986 ops in 31 Cactus League at-bats before a solid season split between Class A Advanced Carolina and AA Biloxi, as well as a strong showing in the Arizona Fall League, where he posted a .934 ops. President of Baseball Operations David Stearns has already said Hiura will begin the season in the minors, but with the big club poised to start a platoon of Corey Spangenberg and Hernan Perez or Tyler Saladino, Hiura could have call-up potential once Super 2 territory is cleared. Adam McCalvy video, Mayo on Reyes being a prospect to keep an eye out for Cardinals. Alex Reyes, RHP Reyes has been the Cardinals' top-ranked prospect for 4 straight seasons, but he's eager to graduate from that list this season. He missed 2017 while recovering from Tommy John surgery and made just 1 start 4 innings in 2018 before requiring surgery to repair a torn tendon in his lat muscle. His rehab schedule has him on track to be ready to pitch in spring training, and the Cards will use the next several weeks to assess his health and optimal fit for the season ahead. They remain open to using him as a starter or reliever, depending on need. For Langich Cubs, Nico Hoerner, SS Chicago built its core through position players at the top of the MLB draft, and the club is hoping that Hoerner, taken 24th overall in the 18 draft, will soon fit into that same category. The 21-year-old Stanford product has certainly turned heads since turning pro. A left elbow issue limited Hoerner to 14 games last season, but the shortstop posted a 1.021 ops in 60 plate appearances. He then opened eyes with Mesa in the Arizona Fall League, hitting .337 with 1 homer, 4 doubles, 4 triples and a .867 ops in 21 games. With his bat-to-ball ability and impressive exit velocities, Hoerner could develop fast and grow into more power. MLB Pipeline listed him in the final spot in the latest Top 100 rankings and projected that he could reach MLB by the 2020 season. If Hoerner gets some Cactus League action this spring, Cubs fans will want to pay attention. Jordan Bastion Pirates, Mitch Keller, RH. Last year, Keller said it was kind of a big deal to pitch 2 innings in a mid-March Grapefruit League game. Pirates fans will get a much longer glimpse at the club's top prospect this spring. Keller, MLB Pipeline's no. 19 overall prospect, will be in big league camp from the start and may be preparing for his major league debut at some point this summer. He has a plus fastball and curveball, and the Bucks have been stressing the importance of his changeup over the past few years. The 22-year-old right-hander is set to begin the season with AAA Indianapolis, where he initially struggled last season before finishing strong. Third baseman Brian Hayes, Pittsburgh's number 2 prospect and a dynamic defender with an improving bat, will also be in big league camp for the first time this spring. Adam Berriards, Nick Senzel, 3B, 2B, of Cincinnati's prospect to watch happens to also be the organization's no. 1 prospect, according to MLB Pipeline, and MLB's number 6 overall. Senzel is back for his second big league camp, but this one has much more at stake. The Reds have an opening in center field and Senzel, a career infielder, has spent most of his offseason learning the position to try to make the team. Senzel could also make the club in a super utility type role where he plays regularly. If the 23-year-old hadn't had a bout of vertigo and a broken right finger last season, he likely would already be in the major leagues. Now he must show not only that he can stay healthy, but that he can also be a quick learner to take on a new position at the game's highest level. Marshall, the National League WESTD backs, Jazz Chisholm, SSD backs. Fans who got out to watch Arizona Fall League games last year got a sneak peek at Chisholm. signed in the 2015 international class. Chisholm is an athletic shortstop that has moved up steadily through the system. While his ETA in the big leagues is probably not until 2020 and he could be one of the early cuts in camp, D-backs fans should take advantage of the opportunity this spring to get a glimpse of what the future looks like for the organization at shortstop. Steve Gilbert, Dodgers, Keibert Ruiz, assuming he isn't dealt in a trade for JT Realmuto or Corey Kluber, Ruiz will be the prospect that draws the most attention because he's younger than outfielder Alex Verdugo or fellow catcher Will Smith, and might also have the highest ceiling. Ruiz spent all last year at Double-A and is only 20 years old now. With Austin Barnes, Russell Martin, Rocky Gale and Smith ahead of him on the depth chart, the big question is how much spring playing time Ruiz will get. Gurnick Giants, Joey Bart, C. Bart, the Giants' top prospect, will headline the list of 18 non-roster invitees at Big League Camp this spring. The second overall pick out of Georgia Tech in last June's draft, Bart quickly lived up to expectations after batting .298 with a .983 ops and 13 home runs in 45 games with Class A Salem Kaiser in 2018. With Buster Posey on the mend from major hip surgery, the 22-year-old Bart could see a lot of action early in camp, giving the Giants plenty of opportunities to evaluate their promising young catcher. Maria Guardiotti video, MLB Network highlights no. 2 prospect Tatis talents Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr., SSWHOLs. Tatis is presumably the answer to the Padres' decade-long shortstop question, and there's a chance he answers it in a big way. MLB Pipeline rated him as the sport's number 2 overall prospect, and he's the rare 5-tool talent without a glaring flaw in his game. Tatis, who has only played a few months at Double-A, will have his work cut out for him to make the opening day roster. He's got service time concerns working against him as well. But he's going to arrive in San Diego soon enough. And he'll bring plenty of swagger with him. AJ Casabell Rockies, Brendan Rodgers, Rogers, the No. 10 prospect in the majors according to MLB Pipeline, is in Major League Camp for the second straight year, but this is his first shot at breaking with the big club as he competes for the starting second base job. Ryan McMahon, Garrett Hampson, the Rockies' number 4 prospect, and Pat Valaika also are in the running for the job. Realistically, for Rodgers to not start the season at Triple-A Albuquerque, he'll have to win the job with a breakthrough spring, like the one shortstop Trevor Story accomplished in 2016. Thomas Harding. The countdown to pitchers and catchers reporting is down to single digits for all 30 MLB clubs, but as exciting as it is to see the return of Major League stars, it's also at times to dream about the next wave of baseball talent. With the help of MLB.com's beat writers, here's a prospect to keep an eye on for each and every team in 2019. American League East Blue Jays, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 3BTHE Blue Jays might be in the process of rebuilding, but their upcoming spring training will be must-see TV because of one player. Guerrero, arguably one of the most hyped prospects in history, will report to Big League Camp for the first time in his career. Guerrero appeared in a handful of spring games for Toronto in 2018, but he's never been a full participant in camp, and this will be the first time fans get to watch his progress from start to finish. Guerrero vs. Chris Sale, Blake Snell, or Aroldis Chapman and Masahiro Tanaka. These matchups have never happened before, but they might this spring, and if they do, the entire baseball world will be watching. Guerrero comes anywhere close to matching the hype, there are certain milestones of his career people will not want to miss, and his very first Major League spring training is one of them.